Alrighty then, back once again for another reaction. This time, finally, it's RWBY, Volume 7, Chapter 1, The Greatest Kingdom. I am always notoriously late when it comes to RWBY, because usually when I'm going to call them seasons, I hate tripping myself up to remember volumes and chapters. To me, it's seasons and episodes, okay? So I'm just going to say that, aside from when I introduce the videos. As I am notoriously late for having a season pass me by, and I take forever to get around to it, and in the time that I wait until I have the proper motivation and recording window for actually watching that season, I know a lot about the season in question. You know, it robs people of a lot of first-time reaction moments, but at the same time, I like to feel like I offer a sort of balanced perspective of being able to taper expectations, knowing sort of what lies ahead, and as a result, maybe that's why I've been more positive on the series than others, because personally, Volume 6 was my favourite of the entire show. Just saying. Season 6, way up there for me. I did not feel any outrage over what happened to Adam. I thought, well, yeah, he's a dick. He played stupid games, won a stupid prize. Yeah, self-defense, he's dead. He was at his wit's end, and revenge was all he had left, so he was gonna keep coming after them. So that really was the only fate his character could have had from that point. I know people were expecting him to be like, oh, this overarching big bad Blake's personal inner demon that she needs to face one-on-one in a typical anime, this is my own destiny moment, and he deserved to be a lot more badass. No, he didn't. He was a piece of shit, and if anything, exposing him as being pretty pathetic behind that mask of his, that was fitting to me. I mean, yes, he had a bad childhood, but that doesn't stop the courts in America putting people in prison for the rest of their lives or putting them to death, does it? A lot of the time, when I read up on these cases where criminals have received a harsh punishment, the defense always tried that they had a rough childhood, think, well, we're all responsible for our own decisions that we take. So I think Adam sort of fell into that as well. Like, he had many opportunities to learn and grow. Blake tried so hard, but he was just too far gone, and in the end that was the only fate left for him, because otherwise he would keep coming and he'd keep coming. And yeah, I didn't have any problem with how that happened. In fact, I thought it was one of the best moments of the entire show, and you can crucify me for that all you like. I really think RWBY's character came into her own in Volume 6 as a leader. I loved how she was thrust into the responsible role after Crow shut down following the truth that they learned about Salem, which was one of my favourite episodes of the entire show. I really love that she stepped up and really took charge and command, and despite her youth and inexperience compared to the others, at the same time, thanks to everything that these girls have been through, she also kind of has the experience necessary now, and she has the sort of pure heart that drives things forward without ulterior motive, which is the sort of leader we need right now, and not the more, let's say, dishonest leaders that we have in the world today. Like, you know, I really felt for the first time in a while that RWBY was the heroine, and Volume 6 was amazing for her in both a leadership role and for the development given to her Silver Eyes by Maria. Like, Maria was a fantastic addition. Maria is one of the best characters in the entire show. You see, a lot of things about Volume 6 I'm saying are the best in the show. Like, I feel like not only did they really finally nail the new engine so things weren't as clunky, but I also thought everything was where it should be. I loved the character development threads. I loved Jean learning to stop blaming himself, and that what he said in Volume 5 was actually picked up by his teammates and, like, brought up back to him in front of Pyrrha's statue, no less, for some poetic brilliance. That was all super well done to me. The Scooby-Doo-like adventure on Brunswick Farms is one of my favourite self-contained story arcs that the show's ever done. I feel like that was the real strong point of Volume 6. Just this nice, creepy, isolated adventure that had a clear beginning and end and didn't take up too much time, yet also furthered along Ruby's development. And there was the nice thread of annoyance with Ruby and Crow's alcoholism and not really taking the responsible role. And it got everyone a chance to voice some doubts, aided by the apathy, and that was all out in the open and stuff. I don't know. Everything about Volume 6 seemed to work for me. I mean, aside from maybe some clunkiness in the mech fight, but then, I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent now, but basically, to put it straight, I am not a person who believes that RWBY is suffering for quality. Now, I don't know how Volume 7 is going to turn out as a whole, but what I am saying is I do know certain things, but compared to how I've known certain things about previous volumes, I can't see it affecting me much this time around either. I knew about Adam's defeat way before I ever watched Volume 6. I knew that Ruby's silver eyes would come into play again in a big way, when she did it against the Leviathan thing. I knew that kind of thing was coming. I've seen images of Maria. In Volume 5, I knew about Raven versus Cinder. I knew about Cinder's apparent death, even though she came back in the next volume, but still. And these things didn't affect anything to do with my enjoyment of what came next. I knew about Shish Kebabbed Weiss, and that still got to me at the time, because, it was a bit clunky the way everyone stood still while Cinder slowly approached and threw it, but still, the moment of impact was still sold on me, and I do think Volume 5 is criminally underrated, by the way, just saying. But Volume 6 for me was a masterclass, and the Salem flashback is one of the better executed villain backstories I've ever seen, because it painted her in both a sympathetic light, but also in a light that shows why she absolutely must be stopped, and we root for the heroes more than ever. I think Ozpin was treated a little harshly because he's keeping secrets for a reason, because he's had too many Ravens and Leos in his life. There's a certain point that you stop giving out information if all it's doing is getting turned around on you. He did need to be more selective with who he told the truth, and I understand why he was doing that. I think I've said every good thing I wanted to get out of the way. Oh, Neo's revenge motivation. I was hoping for this ever since Volume 3, and Volume 6 gave me some very tantalizing promise. That's something I'm really looking forward to in Volume 7, because I've seen screenshots. This is something I am going to I'm going to stop saying what I know about Volume 7. You see, I was originally planning on saying, if you don't want to hear me saying what I know about Volume 7, if you're going to watch this blind along with me, if you're late too, you can skip to this timestamp when I've stopped talking about it. But, in fact, I'm not. All I'm going to do is, when something happens, I'm going to say if I've seen it or, not seen it, but if I knew it was going to happen. And I will then probably pause or something to give my thoughts on it, and we'll do it that way. This is kind of a long intro, but it's been so long, you have to understand, since I've actually sat down to watch this series, and I feel like I need to really re-establish myself back in this hot seat and basically describe to any Rooster Teeth fans who only watch Rooster Teeth content on my channel. Hi, welcome back after X amount of years. But, I feel like before anyone gets into a volume that's not Volume 1, it's pretty good to just establish where you are as a fan, where you are with your enjoyment of the series, what do you know. Obviously, we're going to find out as we go, but just to get myself ready. I think I feel ready now. Now, what do I expect that I don't already know? What do I expect from Volume 7? I expect to see a Tyrion fight, because he was so cool in Volume 4, when he was like soloing all of Team Ranger, and then went toe-to-toe with Crow, and only really lost because he allowed himself to gloat for a moment and got caught off guard by Ruby's bullet. Otherwise, he'd have mopped the floor with all of them. I guarantee that. I'm really excited to see him in action again because Salem has sent both Tyrion and Watts to Atlas, and that reminds me of something else I really loved about Volume 6. We're past the 10-minute mark. Oh my gosh. Emerald and Mercury. Ever since Emerald gave that doubtful look and was like, oh, this is awful. Like, when Beacon was being attacked, just before Cinder gleeful, oh, it's horrendous. Keep filming. But ever since then, there's been a big clamoring for Emerald to see the light, so to speak. She was just a street rat taken in and basically showing love to her adopted mother and going along with what she wanted to do. Like, as she was saying to Mercury, without Cinder around, what's her motivation for staying beyond the fact that she'll be killed if she tries to leave? Like, she's not invested in Salem's thing. She just wants to follow Cinder. So, I think her fate is tied into Cinder's fate. Obviously, she now knows that Cinder is alive, but she doesn't exactly know where she is, just that she's in temporary exile until she learns her lesson, whatever that means. But I expect things from Emerald that will continue to push her more towards realizing this isn't actually what I want to do, and see if she grows from that and does something different. I feel like that was a really interesting plot thread that they confirmed in Volume 6 and adds to my love of that volume. Hey, notice I'm back in the groove. I'm saying volumes instead of seasons. But yeah, obviously the Cinder and Neo alliance was a very interesting setup for Volume 7. So what's great about this is that Cinder and Neo are in Atlas separately, independently from whatever Watts and Tyrion are doing. I have a feeling that this could set up some interesting crossroads between different subplots and random encounters, and which might make things so much more fun and exciting, and I can't wait for that. Yeah, I absolutely cannot wait for that. I think that's all. Oh, excuse me. Something I would like to see is Yang to personally thank Ironwood for the arm, because it has come in very handy so far. Get it? That was unintentional at first. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool just to have a brief word of thanks about it, now that she finally gets to see him in person, hopefully. I want to see if now that Crow sort of chilled out again at the end of Volume 6, if he's going to resume his leadership role. Is Ozpin going to come back and resume leadership role after making up with the team? Or is RWBY going to continue the leadership role? What's the dynamic going to be now? And how long are we going to be in Atlas? Is this a 3-volume thing, a 2-volume thing, a 1-volume thing? Because we've got a lot of red tape to go through, because this is a military nation. And I just don't know how smoothly this is all going to go, especially because this whole Salem stuff is pretty confidential. I think only Ironwood really would have to know about this because of being Ozpin's inner circle, but it's going to be difficult trying to get around the logistics of the country with such important stuff. I just don't see a viable way of doing it quickly. I'm sure there'll be all sorts of problems. all sorts of issues to resolve, and then you've got to throw the villains in the mix, which will probably put Atlas on high alert as soon as something happens, which will make things even harder. And yeah. Okay, so I think I've got it all out of my system. That's all my speculation. As I say, anything that I already know, I will let you know immediately when it's happened. But otherwise, I'm excited because I've always wanted to see what Atlas looks like. Ever since we learned about the history of it, we've only really seen the inside of Weiss's manor when we have been there. So it'd be nice to actually step outside and see what day-to-day life is like. I'm expecting it to be pretty futuristic, I guess. They have all the latest tech, you know, because they were forced to, living out in the cold. They became more technologically advanced than everyone else. That was explained in the World of Remnants. But I'm also interested to see if we'll be visiting the poor district down below, you know, the slums, you know, get a bit more social commentary. I'm sure we won't pass up the opportunity for that at some point. Anyway, I've spent more than enough time rambling. According to Audacity, I'm 16 minutes in. That's not good. or maybe it is. Maybe you love hearing me ramble. Or maybe you clicked the skip button 15 minutes ago. Hey, if you don't skip my intro rambles, comment sausages. Just comment sausages in the comments. That's how I'll know that you guys actually watch. Just say sausages for me, okay? Okay, now, for real this time. Without further ado, let's start RWBY Volume 7. Do, 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 do. Oh yeah, we got the pretty moon in all of its fragments. It's impressive that they haven't just drifted away into space or fallen to Earth by now. Because a lot of pieces did come down to Earth when that first happened.
Manta 5-1. Welcome home.
Yeah, welcome home. That was said at the end of
continue your approach to Atlas
Volume
Docking Bay
6.
Omega 12. A security team will meet you there. Over.
I don't understand. What's happening here?
I don't know. But we are here.
Well, security
We
has
got
been
to land
beefed
at
up.
Atlas, so I guess we'd land and get some answers.
I'm not so sure. I've never seen our forces deployed so aggressively before.
Well, Ironwood is getting more and more paranoid.
There's no way the security team will let us anywhere near Ironwood.
This was shown when he was slamming Jock's desks in half.
So, Winter, put some distance between
Please,
us and the fleet.
please,
You don't
show
have
us
to tell
Winter
me
again.
twice.
Okay, we are going to the under bit first. Yeah, it looks a little bit dirtier, but nice. It looks okay. I was expecting more of a Hunger Games difference, to be honest. God, look how disheveled he looks now.
The rest of the world, I can tell you what is certain. The kingdom of Atlas will remain strong, and it will remain safe. That is my promise.
As Weiss said in Volume 6, the General's scared.
General Ironwood.
That's why he's
He looks
closed up the country.
tired.
James, what have you been doing?
Hopefully you guys can literally slap some sense into him. Crow? Is that
This
really
isn't right.
wise?
None of this is right.
Manta 5-1, we've noticed a detour in your route. You are to make your way to Docking Bay Omega 12 immediately. Do you copy? Over.
We're kind of running out of time here, kids.
We need to ditch the ship.
Agreed. Get lost in Mantle and buy ourselves some time.
I'm telling you, my sister can take us to Ironwood.
We can hear you. The comms are open, you know.
Weiss?
A reminder.
Huh?
Failure to cooperate with Atlas military personnel is a punishable offense. If your sector is
Winter?
under lockdown, please
No offense, Weiss. I'm not sure that's a good idea anymore.
There's obviously something very wrong. If we can just talk to her, then we...
Look, I'm not even sure we should be talking to Ironwood until we know exactly what's going on with Mantle.
But
Everyone,
This is a
calm
good
down.
replacement. I've been trying to keep an ear
I
out.
know someone who can
That's a
help
good
with
crew
both.
voice.
Mantis
I'm
Type
happy.
1, you are to make your...
Jeez, lady, take a hint.
We're up to no good. Leave us alone. Well, I mean, we're not up to no good, but in your perspective, we are. Well, they stole a ship. They are up to no good, but you know what I mean. The noble mission is what I'm talking about. Gosh, it's so deserted. Like, obviously it's not, but it felt quite empty in that shot.
Come on now, hurry. It shouldn't be much of a walk.
Show your teeth.
Is this many soldiers?
Is that a Faunus graffiti?
No. At least, I didn't think so.
Because obviously Atlas is a place where Faunus face more discrimination than most areas, isn't it?
Ooh. Maybe we should pick up the pace.
You already had your...
You have to remember,
Photo
the
taken.
kingdom had just lost the Great War. The people of Mantle
Did that
needed
get
a
sent
sign of
somewhere?
a brighter future, and that sign was Atlas. After all, a home in the clouds is about as bright as it gets.
We are here for your safety. Thank you for your cooperation.
Unless you're the one having to look up at it.
This whole city, it just seems awful.
Yeah? You don't like it here? There's plenty of space out in the tundra.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Atlas is the greatest kingdom in the world.
Okay. Wow.
can't
The
cause
social commentary.
Embargo.
This is clearly a you don't like America, you can get out.
You'll see. We try and help the other kingdoms, and this is what happens? I say let them rot.
I apologize. I didn't mean to insult you.
Stupid faunists like you wouldn't understand.
Get slapped. Yep, racist.
It was worth it.
Failure to cooperate with Atlas military personnel.
Hey, wait! That was wild!
We are here for your safety.
Wow, what a klutz.
Thank you for your cooperation.
But well done, Weiss. I love when she shows how much she's come to stick up for the Faunus. Oh, Mouse Girl.
Ah, it's good to
Is
see
that-
you again, old
Is that what
friend.
the ears are? It was a bit brief. Oh, hello.
Ah, yes, yes. Have we met?
Well, this is off to a fantastic start.
Cybernetic
Indeed.
optical implants? You adjust them every 10 years or so?
Maria!
Maria!
The cybernetic optical implants.
Oh, I like your spider chair.
Oh, wow. Has it been that long already?
Ah, I know. I age like a fine wine. Would have been here sooner if I hadn't run into these jokers. At the time, I thought they might need my guidance while fighting a little old sphinx.
Oh, did they?
No. They had much more complicated issues.
Yes, I learned about the truth of the world. Would you like to hear it?
So impatient. I didn't think I'd need to introduce one of Atlas's finest minds.
Working in a place like this?
But Weiss is stood right here.
He likes to keep a low profile. Something I've come to realize none of you know anything about.
You can call me Pietro.
Finest heart, too. This pharmacy is just
Oh
where
my.
he volunteers when he's
I-
not
is
building
there
the
a bit of
future
something
Atlas,
here?
alongside Ironwood up in the clouds.
Oh, it's stuffy up there. Down here, I get to help the locals and have.
You're a good man. I hope you're not gonna die.
On shoes that make you dance. You want to try them on?
Yes! Before we get to that, we were wondering if you could help us. We came to Atlas hoping to talk with General Ironwood, but What exactly has been happening here?
Aren't you cold yet, Blake?
The fall of Beacon.
I just gave a thought.
On all of us. James was no different. I couldn't tell you exactly what it was he saw there, but it changed him. He's
scared.
Yeah.
Paranoid would be the more appropriate term. You have to understand, it wasn't just the Grim. Someone completely dismantled Atlas security code.
Yeah, that would spook him that all of his systems were hacked so well.
Traitors to some and buffoons to everyone else. Whoever managed to do that is either a genius or
it's
what?
Yeah, the genius.
I fear the answer may be both. And so does the general.
Maybe Atlas isn't as safe as we thought.
After we came all this way, we can't just leave, can we?
How does the council feel about all of this? Or Winter Schnee? Do you know anything about her?
Well, the council's so scared they'll agree to whatever he wants.
Well, he made that point to Jacques.
Wait, you're Wife Schnee.
Hi.
Wait, what was it that you were trying to say about Mantle?
You painted it.
What?
Is everything okay?
Did you make it?
You're Team RWBY.
Oh!
You know us?
Oh, my girl, I do.
Ah!
I most certainly do. And I feel like such a dunce for not recognizing you sooner. My daughter's told me so much about you.
You're
Oh. Oh. I think I know who that is.
Trouble.
I think I know who this man is now as well. I think he's gone through a redesign, but we have seen him before. He doesn't look like he did, but I think I have a pretty good idea who this is now. But, oh, he made the arm. That's, oh, good continuity there that a weapon's currently broken.
Surprise me.
Okay, time for some action.
Well, we didn't come this far to film now.
First action sequence. Calm, Sabertooths.
Hey!
Woo! Oh, the guitars in the background. Oh yeah, that's smooth. Bang! Good enough. Yeah, they've all been through enough now that just a bunch of Grim walk in the park. This is not war, this is pest control. Nice work. Here we go. Getting Volume 1 flashbacks here. Okay, I am gonna pause this. Right on her eyes opening up. Okay, I knew about this. This is one of the first things that everybody couldn't shut up about when the volume first started. It was literally impossible to suddenly avoid the outpouring and thumbnails and everything of, oh my god, Penny's back! Ah! And I have to say, I wasn't a fan at all at first. I did not understand because like, sure, yes, it's wonderful for fans of her. I am a fan of her. Yes, of course I'm glad that she gets to come back. But one of the biggest things about Volume 3 was the sense of loss. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but in a drama-driven action story that RWBY's become, in this sort of story, isn't a loss, a shaping, a defining loss in a character's sorrow supposed to, I don't know, stick? I mean, that doesn't invalidate that it made her go through the development that she did, or it contributed to Yang feeling the way that she did, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know about just deleting the death. And obviously it's not been deleted from the character's history, but at the same time, the way it was presented, the way they intended for us to feel, it was like, oh, shit, well, she lived because she had aura embedded into her, and like, when she died, that aura dissipated. Like, Penny, as we know her, is gone. She's gone. Like, and that was a big shock. And it caused a lot of tears in the fandom. And it caused RWBY to have a slight breakdown before she picked herself up and protected Pyrrha. But even then, it was more just letting her emotions guide her because she was quite bloodthirsty. You know, she was in absolute shock, and so much so that Mercury dismissed her as a threat anymore and walked away from her, leaving her to cry on the floor. You know, it was treated as one of the big losses of the volume to drive RWBY forward. She'd lost both Penny and Pyrrha, and this was brought up by John when he gave her a pep talk just before the Nukalavy fight in Volume 4. He was like, you have lost so much more than our team. Yeah, we all lost Pyrrha, but you lost Penny and even your own sister because of the, like, slightly bitter way they parted ways from Patch. But that sort of reverts the scorecard back down to everyone only losing Pyrrha. Poor Pyrrha. And I for the longest time, this was a big controversial thought in my mind. I thought, everyone's so happy about this. Everyone is so overjoyed about this. They have a right to be. On some level, I'm overjoyed about this. But I can't help but think that for all I've stuck up for RWBY, for all I've been positive about the writing, for all as an aspiring writer myself, I just love a lot of the ideas that RWBY puts forward. This was the first time, genuinely, in the entire run of the series, I thought, why? What the hell is this? No. You know, that kind of feeling. I thought, oh, whoa, that is a dropped ball. Like, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that gets me any dislikes on this video, but I'm going to give you my thoughts at the time that I learned this information, and why it's probably for the best that I was spoiled on this so that it wouldn't ruin my reaction to this chapter. I just have to get that off my chest, that when I first learned about this turn of events, I was disappointed and shocked. Because while I love the character, I still don't want to suddenly invalidate the role that she played in the story by saying, oh, by the way, didn't count, she's not actually dead. I think that's cheap. I think that's cheap. But they have a whole volume to convince me that this was the right move, to give me a good explanation and to justify her re-inclusion. And I realised that one of the defences for that is they don't have to justify anything. It's their story. They can decide what they want to do with it. And to be fair, I have used that justification for how Adam turned out. I have long said, oh, well, you know, that's just how his character was. You may have wanted him to be something else, but don't call Adam bad character writing just because you didn't want him to go down this route, like the writers did, and that's their decision. So that's just how it was. I get that I'm going to have to eat humble pie on Penny's death not being permanent because the writers wanted to bring her back. And I have got to deal with that. So now the shoe is on the other foot. But the difference between me and those haters is that I am still willing to give concepts a chance. I feel like it's important to get my initial distaste out there so that you can understand the relevance of why I think it's important to give the benefit of the doubt. Because I have a lot of doubt about this decision, but I am giving the show a chance to, and as pretentious as that sounds, I'm just trying to speak English here, like, I am willing to give the show a chance to win me over on this decision alone, like, just for this decision. You know, this is one of the only things I'll ever get my back up about. I like sacrifice to stick. I don't like cheap sacrifices. That's why, while I consider Gravity Falls one of my perfect cartoons, I slightly have to cheat by overlooking the fact that the whole memory loss thing in the finale was very short-lived and not permanent. Like, I think it would have been a much more powerful end to the show if Grunkle Stan stayed memory damaged or didn't make a full recovery by the end, but maybe implied that he would in the future. You know, I get that they had to end with them going off on their adventure, you know, him and his brother, like, as part of the happy epilogue, but it's that kind of feeling. I'm like, oh, why would you do this big moment of loss only to retread? You know, backpedal is the word. Why would you backpedal? That is what I'm curious to find out. Obviously, we're in Atlas, which is the perfect place to find out more about Penny, but I just would have preferred if she hadn't been shown to have died back then and that she'd been alive this whole time. I just genuinely think that audience manipulation can be done right, but other times it comes off as cruel and unnecessary. And however this volume treats Penny from here on will shape my opinion on whether it's one or the other. Are we all clear? Like, if you understand anything that I've been saying, or if you really get the point that I'm trying to put across to you, like, no hostilities whatsoever, comment banana. Comment banana to show that you understand me. So we've got the sausage and we've got the banana. Like, do you listen to me then and do you listen to me now? Okay, I'm done. I really, really was waiting to say that. I have had it pressure cooking inside me for pretty much a year. These come out like every October, don't they? A new volume. Like, I've been pressure cooking on that for probably a year's time. If not like half a year or whenever. I lose the dates of these things, but I am going to try and stay pretty caught up on Volume 8. We'll see how that goes. But for now, let's get back into this. And welcome back, Penny.
Darling, why don't you say hello to your friends?
Big anime tackle incoming.
Sal?
You Tations! You're gonna die.
It is such a pleasure.
I really like her design for what it's worth.
I thought you
died? I guess in a manner of speaking, she did. But we were able to recover her core from Amity Arena once it had made its way back to Atlas. It took me some time, but...
I'm as good as new. Better even.
Okay.
And now I'm the official protector of the city.
Okay, protector of the city, sure. I paused it again. Maybe I should have saved my rant. But this is an honest reaction. I am actually willing to believe that a spark of her still existed inside her core, and that it was brought back and recovered. Within 10 seconds of asking for a good explanation, I got one. And I think that is good reaction value. So I'm going to leave my rant in for the reaction value. How's that? But you know, I feel like opinions have to be voiced, because otherwise you just sat here with a stone face going, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, that was a good episode. Bye. Like, I'm not one of those reaction channels. I like to try and discuss what I'm seeing and the ideas being put forth and how it makes me feel as a consumer. And, okay, I will accept this. I completely accept this, that there was a part of a... You see, the thing I was fearing was that she was just respawned back at home with, like, no effort whatsoever. I'm really glad that it was retrieved from the hardware she left at Beacon. That is completely fine. That is completely fine. I know that shows aren't immune from bringing a supposedly dead character back. I was just worried that they wouldn't do this well. And that turns out to be the only concept that I needed. I'm completely fine with Penny being back already. So, yeah. This episode reaction is already so pointlessly long. I can't believe that I finally got all those Penny thoughts off my chest when the simple explanation was barely 5 seconds away from me letting in. That is typical, but I get that there will still be a lot of people who agree with what I said before. This still cheapens somewhat the emotional impact of what happened back then. Not in the case of what it did for the characters, but in a more story narrative sense of, oh, well, what was the point of that then? But I know that it's not a unique concept, and stuff like this has been done in fiction before. It's not a one-off thing that they've tried just to be random with it. Like, this has actual grounding in the fact that as long as it's been pretty much like a plane's black box, if that makes sense. Like, a plane could absolutely blow itself to atoms against the side of a mountain full speed, right? This is from watching a lot of air crash investigation, or Mayday Mayday as you guys might call it. And, you know, a plane that smashed completely into a mountain and just completely blew into a million pieces, they still found the plane's black boxes, which is super tough and store all of the recorded data about the flights. Based on that, I can completely understand that even as destroyed as Penny was, as long as they could get her core, her black box feature kind of thing, back to Atlas, then they could do something with it. That is logical, that is believable, and that's all I wanted, and I'm happy, and we're resuming.
That's my girl. We're not going to let a little ripping to shreds stop us, are we?
No, sir.
This is strangely wholesome.
Sounds like Penny to me.
Yes,
we have
it
so
does.
many things to catch up about. I cannot wait.
Looks like you're gonna have to wait. Hey, yes.
Let's talk more later. I can't wait to hear about all your adventures. I'm very excited for the whole experience.
Universe is a hologram. Bye, goal. Bye.
I can't tell if I completely understand what's going on or have like a million questions.
And thankfully, I have about 1,000 answers. But let's get out of this weather first.
I have absolutely no idea who that child was.
Yeah,
Is she important somehow?
Well, to a lot of people, she
Never
is.
a dull moment.
But I wouldn't say unwelcome. I was honestly expecting things to go a lot rougher.
You just had to jinx this, didn't you? Well then.
Good work, team.
That's an Academy record.
Hey, pal. I'm a licensed huntsman. Just help save everyone?
No response?
Let's get them loaded into the next transport.
Please. We were just trying to help.
What is the meaning of this? What are the Aesops even doing down here in Mount?
I've heard of the Aesops.
Doctor, good to see you. Well, we heard a report of an unauthorized ship making an unauthorized landing, followed by an unauthorized use of weapons by non-licensed huntsmen.
If we could just talk this out.
They'll be able to talk this out once they get up to Atlas. Let's move out.
Okay, so you don't seem like a total dick. You're just doing your job.
Now this is much closer to what
what you expected, yes. Oh, new intro, which I'm probably going to mute. Oh, I've missed you, Casey. Oh, the Super Saiyan hair. Oh yeah, this is something I was curious about. The outfit changes. Like, how much time is going to pass in Atlas? Or are they just having a wardrobe change in general? And what brings that on? Just dressing for winter? I love these. I love how the openings get more anime every single time. I do love that. The openings get more anime every single time. So it looks like the Aesops are going to get a lot of focus. And we are going to get more Schnee family stuff, which I'm excited for. Yes, Tyrion. Okay. Brilliant stuff. Okay, yes. Very satisfied so far. That's pretty much the overriding feeling I get being a chapter in. Yeah, the biggest concern that I had was the Penny thing, and that was, as I said, resolved pretty quickly, so I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm happy to see her back. I hope that we have some fun with her. I think, for the most part, Atlas is as I expected it to be. It's obviously very turtle-shelled, very authoritative, and obviously there's the divide between the upper and the lower systems. We're going to the upper system now, where all the government stuff is, because our team need to explain themselves, hopefully to Ironwood himself. I appreciate that despite the swift arrest and not responding to the questions asked of him, I assume that's the leader of this branch of the Aesops or whatever they are. He doesn't seem to be a total dick. He's just doing his job with a smile on his face, and that actually can be a bit unexpected in a show like this. Sometimes you expect characters to be more, I don't know, a bit, oh yeah, you filthy scum, that kind of thing, but no, he was just, oh, no worries, all due process, they can talk to the people up there, la-di-da-di-da, like, okay, alright, you have the benefit of the doubt for now, just don't do anything silly, okay? Yeah, I'm sure this will get sorted out pretty quickly, but like I say, something piquing my interest right now is not only that we got to meet Penny's father or creator, but also that he built Yang's arm. So obviously Ironwood was in charge of authorizing this whole thing to do with Yang's arm, but it seems like Penny's dad makes a lot of things. Like he was obviously involved with the creation of those mech suits, wasn't he? But it seems like anything technological, he has a direct hand in, because if he's the one that developed Yang's arm, it seems like he's very on the sleeve of the technological advancements of Atlas, which is interesting. I hope we get to dive more into him and Penny as and their history within Atlas. Just I want to see more of this technology that Atlas is supposedly on the cutting edge of. I mean, those capture devices were pretty effective, even though it's effectively a glorified ninja tether and ball, but still. What else is interesting me? The design changes. that is something that I didn't bring up at first because I didn't know how long it was going to take to see them. But we see them in the opening, as expected. I don't know how to feel about the fact that Weiss's hair seems to have tripled in size. I don't know how that physically works without a large time skip, but I've been told that there might not have been a time skip, which confuses the heck out of me. Is it just a result of tweaking things in how the show looks in the engine? Like, because she looked absolutely normal in this first episode, but you're telling me that somehow I'm supposed to believe that her hair just thwumps up like sheep's wool, like in the hair that's thicker than her head? Like, I don't get it. It took me a while to get used to it. She does look graceful as always, but I will say I already miss the simple side ponytail. Like, I do miss it, but otherwise everyone looks fire. Ruby looks more punk chick than ever before, and I am here for it. But the main thing I'm curious for, especially Jean's haircut, is how this all comes to be. Why they don't just keep looking the way they are now. That is going to be very interesting indeed. Yeah. Wow, so we have embarked. We've met Penny and co. We've had a little bit of a skirmish in the street. That was pretty cool. It was a bit blink and you'll miss it, but I'm sure on multiple rewatches, it's something to appreciate. As I said, they've gotten very efficient at dealing with Grimm, considering everything they've had to face on their travels. Like, this was, like I said, just pest control, a walk in the park. And of course, Penny had to come in and get the finishing blows, but as Crow said, hey, we took out a lot of those things. Like, I'm a professional. And we got to see a brief glimpse of how Ironwood is looking all like bearded up, and because we saw the stubble coming through, we saw his shadow during the arguments he was having with Jacques at the Schnee Manor, but now we see that it's like a full-on beard. Like, he is not sleeping. Ruby picked right away that he looks tired. Like, just as Weiss said last volume, he is paranoid. He's a bit scared, and I don't know how long it's going to take to talk some sense into him, or if we're not going to talk some sense into him and he is just going to keep spiraling and turn into a villain. I don't know, because you don't have to have evil intentions to become a villain. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, so for all we know, well, you guys do know, you've seen this, but for all I know, like, this could be leading him down a path that puts him in the way. But for now, as I said, there's benefit of the doubt, just like I gave benefit of the doubt for Penny, which was immediately rewarded 10 seconds later. I'm giving benefit of the doubt for Atlas's system, but given everything we know about Atlas so far, I don't think it's well placed. I think I'm going to be 1 for 1 with this. 1 for 2, or however you say it. Like, yeah, so that's all I got for you. Liking this so far. Definitely enjoying the fact that I finally get to watch this, and I shall see you guys next time.